Hey, what's up everybody? It's Infamous coming back with another video for the Magicka Sorc. Now, I read on the forums a lot of people complain that a lot of people are running, the same sets. So a lot of the builds that I come out with are just basically showcasing various sets that you can utilize on the different classes. There's quite a few builds that I'm going to be putting out for this week, just basically showcasing that you really don't have to utilize the same exact sets to basically put out damage. Now, of course, all of the different sets will play differently, as some sets might have, more regen in combat versus out of combat, etc. This particular build, it was actually one that centered around my Hold the Line build, which was my Magicka Nightblade, more like a utility tank that I played. I really had wanted to try Magicka Nightblade as a sort of frontline tank, and it worked out pretty good. I really enjoyed that gameplay. I'll leave the link in the bottom of the description or at the top if you want to take a look at that build. It's my Hold the Line build, which is my Magicka Nightblade. By the way, I hope you guys had a great weekend. If you're in the States, I was working last night, and it's dark in my apartment because I've got the blackout curtains because I work as a nurse anyway. So I need it to be dark so I can sleep during the day. But with that said, my Magicka Sorc is a brand. It's been a brand, this class. I've had this thing like from years ago. So I designed this around, for this build is around the brand. So with that said, looking at the builder, this is the resilient build designed for no CP battlegrounds, as you can see right here. All points in the Magicka, we are running the Apprentice for the extra spell damage. Like I said before, it is a Breton, and this is on the Magicka Sorc. For the items, I am running the 2-piece Ice Heart. I feel Ice Heart works really well on Magicka Sorc because typically on a Magicka Sorc, you're gonna have a little bit extra spell critical, and of course this procs off of spell critical whenever you do critical damage, and then you basically get a shield, as you can see right there, for 4300. There's a little bit of ice damage as long as the shield lasts, and of course the 1 piece gives you extra critical. So when you're running this, you're actually going to be able to do enough critical damage, as you can see right here. I think in no CP we're running just about 40% spell critical. The other set that I'm running is the Permafrost set. The Permafrost set you'll get from running Vet Maelstrom Arena. You can run it on normal. It might take you a little bit to farm, but they're always doing like events and stuff. It's a really good set. I have it. I've tried it. I had actually wanted to make a build with this, which is the original one that I made on my Hold the Line Magicka Nightblade tank. The other set, of course, that I'm using is the Willows set. Willows works really well on the Nightblade class because, and as well as Sorcerer, because Sorcerers and as well as Nightblades get access to a passive that gives them extra health recovery and extra stamina recovery by 20% whenever they have a Daedric summoning ability slotted. So going back at the items, like I said, I am running, I think we're running 1, 2, 3 Impen, 4 Impen, reinforced heavy chest always, and then 2 pieces of invigorating. This is a 2 heavy 5 light build. Arcane jewelry, you probably, if you can get it, or you can you can change it. Of course, all spell damage. Sharpened is going to be your best bet because primarily we're not utilizing abilities that really, in terms of healing over time. Typically, if you're using healing over time abilities or burst heals, typically you want to go for the Nirnhone because the Nirnhone will increase the tooltip. But in terms of actual damage, the Sharpened actually works better. Even if you were to, for example, use the Lover for the pen, the Lover for whatever reason, maybe because it's a little too much pen, you end up losing some of the damage. But for this particular build, you want to run the spell damage, the Apprentice, with a Sharpened Fire Staff. With that said, we are running Clockwork for the max health, the max Magicka, and of course the extra recovery, infused with the weapon glyph on the back bar. Willows makes it easier. Of course, you can craft these. So I guess, like I said, running 5 heavy, 5 light, 2 heavy, with spell damage on all the jewelry. Front boy, you want to run shock. so that you can proc the concussive, which will give you minor vulnerability for an additional 8% damage. The fire staff, of course, will increase the damage of all of your direct attack abilities. So you can run endless. On my other build that I run, that I released not too long ago, I didn't really run endless. You can run it, especially for battlegrounds, to secure kills. I was thinking of running, for example, the fire clench, destructive clench for the dot, but it's entirely up to you. It will give you access to an extra dot from the burning passive, as well as giving you a little bit of extra recovery. If the person has the dot on them and they die, you'll get a little bit of recovery, as well as the penetration with the ability on the bar. It's entirely up to you. In terms of the skills, you can see them right here. Consuming Trap, it's got an 18, almost an 18-6 tooltip. Endless Fury, 10k. Crystal Frags, 10k. And then I'm running the Empowered Ward. The reason, of course, I'm running it on the front bar, and this is basically so that you can keep the 100% uptime on the Permafrost set. This is that while you have a damage shield on you, your health recovery is increased by 885. So basically, I keep this on the front bar so that I can keep the health recovery procced the entire time. Haunting Curse is going to be in your back bar because you're going to be rotating fairly often, but primarily so that you can proc the glyph on your back bar. So when the curse goes off, roughly by the 5-second mark, you're going to go right back to your back bar to re-proc the glyph on your back bar to maintain your maximum spell damage, which you can see right here is 3200. Mines is a really good skill both in team play and for solo play. The reason being is that it stops stamina builds from pressuring your team because it will root, as you can see right there. Roots for 2 seconds, it deals almost 8k damage. But the other thing is that sorcerers also gain healing whenever they damage anybody with a dark magic ability, whether it's via frags or via mines, and then each time it will heal you for 2100, right? So they made it a direct heal. So, and it, of course it can happen every half second. So between frags and mines, you're going to be getting some extra supplemental healing. And then, of course, I'm running Structured Entropy. And Structured Entropy, as you can see the tooltip right there, it's almost 21-7. And it gives you a little bit of healing, gives you major sorcery. Streak, it deals damage. And, of course, it's now unblockable, dodgeable, etc. And then, of course, balance on the back bar. Inner Light for obvious reasons, for the extra spell, max Magicka, for the extra major prophecy, as well as giving you a little bit of recovery. For the ultimate, I chose to run Ice Heart. It deals a little bit more damage than the other morph, as well as giving you the slow. Or you could run the other morph for the return on ultimate. It's entirely up to you. Back bar, of course, is going to be Light's Champion because we are running 40% critical, so this will give us an extra, it'll give us major force, increasing the amount of critical damage that we deal, and of course it has a really good heal attached to it. So in terms of the actual stats, you can see them here. 21k health, 30k Magicka, with almost 9600 stam. These are the recoveries. Almost 2900 HP recovery, right? 2200 Magicka recovery, with just about 1100, I should say, excuse me, 1200 stamina recovery between our natural recovery, and then because we're running 2 pieces of heavy armor, you're going to have a little bit more recovery for your stamina and Magicka via the Constitution passive. Spell damage is 3200 with just about 40% critical. You can see the resistance is here a little bit low, but I think with the extra HP recovery, you should be just fine. Only running 1 shield, you can see the tooltip right there. It also gives you the minor intelligence for an extra 10% recovery. It lasts 10 seconds. And of course, it helps proc the set from the Permafrost. So basically keeping you topped off at just about 2900 HP recovery. In terms of your spell pen, we're looking at 7637, and that's because of the sharpened staff as well as being in light armor. The effective spell damage for this build, as you can see here, is just shy of 7k, which is typically what I like to shoot for. I wanted to try this build out. I ran it on my my Magicka Nightblade when I played it more as a tank spec, and it worked out just fine. Super tanky. I really like the health recovery because it allows you to stay offensive a little bit longer instead of always having to go back to your back bar, heal, re-rotate back to your front bar. It allows you to maintain a little bit more offensive while still having healing over time. I think between your skills of, you know, whenever you hit someone with a frag, you're going to heal for a little bit, as well as when, you know, you always want to make sure Minds is down to give you a little bit of breather, as well as to stop yourself from being always gap closed by stamina builds, as well as protecting you from like Night Blades or like, for example, Magicka DKs. Kind of gives you that little bit of cushion, so that you're not always being gap close spammed. Minds is a really good ability, does really good damage, and then we basically have 2 dots and then 2 different burst abilities with an execute, and then of course your shield. Not a huge shield, but I don't really think you're going to need it. It's just primarily there to give you a little bit of a cushion. You've got a little bit of healing from structured entropy, and then of course the ultimate is fairly cheap at 107, which is basically up about every 30 seconds or so. And then of course the only form of stun is going to be with streak, or when you have your ultimate via ice comment. It'll stun for 2 seconds. I think that's about it for this particular build. Hope you like it. It is a different take on a magSorc running health recovery. I had been wanting to try this build for a while because I know it works on my Magicka Nightblade, and I knew it would work on the Magicka Sorcerer primarily because of the dark magic passive via not blood magic, excuse me, the Daedric protection, because they get the extra 20% to their HP recovery as well as their stamina recovery, which is why I went with Willows, because it works really well. You have a lot of percent increases as well as flat increases, so it works out really well. I try a lot of different builds, especially now because of a lot of the damage over time, so you're going to want health recovery, especially if you get CC'd. You'll have that little bit of HP recovery ticking while you have your shield up, so that you can have time to drop mines, basically hit structure and entropy, so you get a little bit of rolling heal, and then of course dot the person up, and then you've got streak that you can set up for an ice comment. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Feel free to check out battleofthebuild.com. I am making adjustments, of course, to the build. You can always go here to the ESO classes. I really can't post all of the builds because there's so many builds that I could literally theory craft that all do about the same amount of damage, but basically will play somewhat differently, either having more HP or even having more recovery in combat versus out of combat, or having, you know, really high inflated stats, but very little recovery, which requires you to be a little bit more conscientious about how you play. This is the other build that I run currently, which is Slipstream, which is my other build. You can check it out here if you're interested in another magSorc build. This one will work just fine. This one is a little bit more bursty, as you can see here. Whereas, did I put the effective spell damage for this one? No, I didn't. But it runs just about the same amount of spell damage, same about the Magicka, but of course it doesn't have the health recovery for that particular build, and running just about the exact same amount of spell pen. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I will be streaming later today. I'll be doing some teamfight tactics. If you're feel free to stop by. I typically will post my streaming schedule at the bottom of my stream. Feel free to check me out here at Infamous NYC. Appreciate everybody who does follow. If it's your first time here, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to subscribe so that you can check out when new content out. I will be releasing another build for the Warden class, as well as another build for the Stamina Necromancer. That will be either maybe till later today if I don't have to do some overtime at the hospital, or I'll release it tomorrow morning as well. I've got 2 more builds that I'm going to be releasing for this patch. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe.